Welcome to this special broadcast brought to you by CTO. Today we'll be running through an article so kindly written by the BBC Australia, BBC World News, written by Tiffany Turnbull, titled Australian Artist Removes Ukraine and Russia Mural After Backlash. An Australian artist has painted over a street mural showing Ukrainian and Russian soldiers hugging after a community backlash. The Melbourne artwork advocated a peaceful resolution between the two countries, creator Peter Seaton says. Yeah, not exactly a bad idea, is it? Just saying. Some have likened the three-story mural to Russian propaganda. Alright, let's get this straight. Russian propaganda is the antithesis of what I have depicted. What I've depicted is a Russian soldier hugging a Ukrainian soldier. The Russian propaganda is demilitarization of all Ukrainian military. So therefore, a hug, not exactly demilitarization, is it? CTO, known as CTO, has apologized for his work, saying it was clumsy and he didn't think it would be so badly received. Well, in hindsight, I don't exactly think it was clumsy. Perhaps I caved to the fear and I was in a situation of not staying true to myself and what I actually truly felt from my heart. And so maybe I used words like clumsy, but in hindsight, I think the mural has huge relevance to so many different conflicts that we experience around the world. Thousands of Ukrainians and Russian forces have been thousands of Ukrainians have been killed and Russian forces have been accused of war crimes since they invaded in February. What? So every single Russian soldier is a war criminal? I think that's a really slippery slope to deeming the whole race or the whole state of people as being war criminals for the actions of probably not as many as we would like to think. There are probably most likely some honorable men on both sides fighting under the fear and hysteria of whatever propaganda they're fed to basically preserve their country. Critics say the work, titled Peace Before Pieces, drew a false moral equivalence between the two sides. Well, I would say the only false equivalence is what has been written in the next paragraph, which is, what would people think if a mural featured a rapist and a victim hugging? Co-founder of the Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organizations, Stefan Romin, said in a statement. Well, I think that is an extremely, extremely outlandish thing to say, personally. I mean, to assume that all Russian soldiers are rapists I don't think it's a good look, man. Seriously. And you can fault the Russians by every stretch of the imagination, and they've done horrific things, and no one is excusing those horrific things. However, to say that every single one of them is a war criminal, rapist, it's a little bit outlandish. That's just my point of view. You tell me what you think. Trying to be even-handed and accepting a false narrative that all we need is peace, in this case, supports evil. Again, just completely putting words in front of the art to make it something which it totally is not. Like, all we need is peace. Like, it's kind of true. Like, it's the year 2022. Peace is evil, apparently, according to this guy. So just have a big step back and have a look at what I'm depicting, because it's a symbol of peace, okay? And it does not say stop fighting. It does not say stop defending your land. It does not say there's an equivalence drawn between the two sides and being even-handed. What I'm suggesting is that both sides have done equal things. It's not what I'm creating and what I'm suggesting It's merely a depiction of love, a depiction of two sides which have literally dehumanized the other, one side calling them Nazis, one side calling them orcs. And what I'm trying to do is create a human moment, much like something which actually happened called the Christmas Truce, which was a real thing in 1914, where German and British soldiers stopped on the moment of Christmas Eve, not all of them, but some of them, and played a friendly game of football. There's photos and videos to back that up. And there's even a photo of a German soldier giving a British soldier a cigarette light. So this was purely my intention, was to portray the humanity within a time where there is no humanity. And that was my objective. And yeah. Ukraine's ambassador to Australia, Vasil, forgive me if I get this wrong, Moryschenko, said it was utterly offensive to all Ukrainians. Again, peace is not offensive, okay? And hugging, it's a symbol of love. Simple as that. You don't need to look at it any further than that. That's the message. An art organization called Art for Ukraine said it raised concerns about the artwork before it started and was shocked to see it completed. Well, the truth is, I was in talks with these lovely people who've outed me as a horrific person. I sent the concept back in March to one of the guys, and he responded before going to the committee, and he said he loved the concept. So then went to the committee, and they decided as a committee it wasn't the right messaging, and also brought up the war crimes that have been committed. And of course, that's a thing. I did feel, however, that the message was much too important to not paint. And despite their concerns, I had to get behind this message, which was peace, which was basically a message that both sides could look at and connect and find the humanity within each other. That's it. Seaton said he stayed up till 3 a.m. local time on Monday to paint over the mural. Then goes on to say how it cost me money, blah, blah, blah. Why would I do that to hurt people? Obviously, I wouldn't want to do that to hurt people. He also defended work, saying it still had a net benefit and a lot of people did get the message. Well, to be fair, that has actually been the case, and the amount of emails of people from all around the world saying thank you so much for your message of peace and love and bringing the humanity to a time when all sanity has been removed and we're in the situation where the only acceptable narrative is to dehumanize the other and say that they are the cause of all the problems and we had no hand in playing in this. And quite frankly, if we want to, as an English-born resident, at least I'm an Australian resident, but I was born in England, I would say there's an article written where Boris Johnson foiled a tentative peace agreement that was actually forged between both Ukrainian and Russian officials in Turkey. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of evidence to suggest that some of these peace and democracy wars that they've been fighting haven't exactly been the best thing for all the people in the area. So the article then goes on to say, I defended it, and there was obviously a contingent of people that there's obviously a contingent of people that feel that this is going to be hurtful and may be traumatizing, and that's not what I want to create with my work, he said. Seaton is selling NFTs, non-fungible tokens, of the artwork, and the money will be donated to charity, he said. Yes, it will be, and thank you for the way in which it was said. He said, like as if I'm not going to do it. Like, we're already talking, the guys from World Beyond War, they've already used the artwork. They've put a number of billboards around Washington, the Russian embassy, the Ukrainian embassy, promoting a peaceful resolution in this war. Some may say that's not possible, some say that is possible. This artwork has been completely misinterpreted, and this article is totally making it into something which it is not. And I mean, the media have a tendency to do that and scandalize everything. But quite frankly, I have a right to speak up for the work, and I also have a right to speak on this matter because if you actually read the title, it's Peace Before Pieces. So regardless of the false equivalence you want to say, that's not what the work is about. It's called Peace Before Pieces. And whether it's not this war, which I feel is the prime war to be speaking about nuclear destruction in the way that we have NATO and the US basically fighting Russia, which are two superpowers that have nuclear weapons and are not afraid to use them and have openly spoken about that. So I think as a global citizen of Earth, and we need to stop thinking in this country terms, sure, we can enjoy the beauty of nationality and being, enjoying your country and all the things it has to offer. But as soon as we start to divide ourselves into countries and say, you don't have a right to speak, sorry, if a nuclear bomb goes off, those borders go. We all are destroyed. Thank you so much to everyone who reached out and shared the heartfelt messages of love and support, and that they did get the message, and it's a valid message and it needs to be said.